Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're finally taking a look at the long-lost dinosaur, Wally the Albertosaurus. Poor Wally here has been lost in the mail for probably almost 2 months now. I think I've done two PNSO releases that came after Wally, the Megalosaurus and the Gorgosaurus. But yeah, Wally finally arrived safe and sound from AliExpress. Very rarely it happens to me that these figures get lost in the mail for a very long time. I think the last time it happened was way back in the day with PNSO's Carolyn, the Corythosaurus. That thing, I think it took 6 months to come back to me. It ended up like sitting in customs, getting shipped back. Ended up ordering one off Prime, and then it magically made its way back like months and months later. But anyways, Wally is here. Got it off PNSO's AliExpress store. It's now available on Amazon Prime. I think this figure retails for around $40. I'll leave the Amazon link down below in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. So let's go over the packaging for Wally really quick before we take a closer look at this figure. Is part of PNSO's Prehistoric Animal Models line. It is number 72. Nice picture of Wally on the front. Picture of Wally's head on the top of the box. That's pretty much it for the box. It's the same pictures. On the other side, you do get a pamphlet with some information about Albertosaurus. A lot of product shots of the actual figure. We have some nice artwork, which is that same artwork on the poster. More awesome artwork. Be cool if we actually got a Rhinoceratops. That'd be a very, very awesome, very, very welcome figure indeed. I think maybe Collecti did a version of that figure, and we sorely need more obscure ceratopsian species. So enough about the pamphlet. Let's take a quick look at the poster. Very, very nice artwork. This is one of the rarer figures that came with actual original artwork for the poster. Lately, it's just been a promotional shot of the figure with, with a Photoshop background, but still nice that we get some original artwork with these. The artwork is very nice, but I still have no need for these posters. So enough about the packaging. Let's take a closer look at Wally. And here is Wally out of the packaging, and I have to say this is definitely my favorite sculpt out of this recent run of Tyrannosaur figures from PNSO. It is sculpted in a very nice active pose, nice running pose. You can see it balances really well on that back toe. Just really, really nice sculpted figure. Just love the active pose. I wish PNSO did that a little bit more often with their figures. Just gives it a very, very dynamic look. The color scheme, it's nothing to write home about. It's pretty drab, but it's also very natural looking. The biggest complaint with these Tyrannosaurs is that, they're kind of drab looking. They all look the same. Yeah, they don't look all the same. I'm going to take them all out later for the comparison section to show you the difference. But Wally here is decked out in a brownish green coloration. You have some nice dark markings all over the body, some nice light brown on the tail, and some nice stripes to make that nice contrast and look. The head is beautifully sculpted. It's great that we actually got an Albertosaurus figure. It's just one of those species of Tyrannosaurs you don't see a lot of figures of. Yeah, we get one in Beast of the Mesozoic, which looks absolutely incredible. And we did get one last year from Safari Limited. So it's nice to see some of these, lesser known Tyrannosaur figures actually getting their time in the limelight in figure form. And now time for some measurements. This figure, if you measure along the curve of the tail, is about 11.5 inches long, or 29.2 centimeters, about 3 3/4 inches tall. To the top of the head are 9.5 centimeters. So Albertosaurus in real life is between 26 to 30 feet long, or 8 to 9 meters. I put this figure somewhere in the 127 to the 131 scale range. So yeah, it's a little bit big. It's not hitting that 135 mark. It's just a little bit bigger than that. But some of the other figures did kind of clock in around that. Some actually clocked in close to 140. So the scale's kind of a little bit all over the place with this recent run of Tyrannosaur figures. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this really nice head sculpt that has a beautiful Albertosaurus profile. You got the horns on top of the head, nicely sculpted, eyes painted orange with a black pupil. You have a little bit of gloss around the eye to give it that wet look. And let's just zoom in a little bit closer. You can see all the large pressure-sensitive scales at the end of the snout. Pretty much all PNSO Tyrannosaurs have this type of sculpting. See, they are going for the lipless look still. They just recently announced their Yangchuanosaurus, which actually has lips. So I guess it's coming full circle because the original Yangchuanosaurus was one of their first theropod dinosaurs, and that one had lips. So we'll see what the next release is after that. If it is a theropod, I think they've done like 14, 15 theropods in a row right now. We'll see if the lip look is going to continue with PNSO, and I'm sure if that is the case, they're gonna probably redo a lot of these figures down the line, and they're going to get us to buy a lot of these figures twice. But oh well, it is what it is. So let's take a look from the front. You got that nice binocular vision. Here is a view of the head from the top, and here is a view from the underside of a nice pinkish cream coat for the underside of the jaw, and for the belly region you have some nice details on the bottom of the feet. And let's zoom back out because my camera did not like me going in that close. We have a very nice, thick, and powerful neck. Some nicely, finely sculpted detail all of the figure. Very proportionate scales. That's been, a very positive trend with PNSO for quite a handful of the releases. They do a much more proportionate looking scales. You have some osteoderms peppered throughout. Nice proportionate two-fingered hands. The claws are decked out in black paint. You have that nice brownish green color with these dark markings. You have a nice, very nice looking camel look, bulging thigh and calf muscles. The hind legs are nicely detailed, a nice wash over here to give it that nice dirty look. The toe claws are decked out in black paint, and here is that running hind foot, nicely done, absolutely beautiful detail on the hind limbs of this figure. Just absolutely love the run and pose this figure comes in. See more scale detail on the thighs, going down to the tail, nice thick muscular tail base. You have this light brown coloration that contrasts with all these nice dark brown markers all the way down to the tip of the tail. And let's do it. Let's do our Alberto bum check. We have a very nice cloaca slit right there. So yeah, all around, really impressed with Wally. Absolutely digging that active running pose. And we almost forgot to go over the mouth articulation. Mouth can close completely flush, and it can open up pretty far. And let's zoom and take a look at all that nice mouth detail with some nice texture on the tongue and on the gums. You can see the teeth are nicely painted. And let's take a look at the roof of the mouth. Lots and lots of nice detail on the roof. I love seeing the nasal passages detail on figures like this. It just really makes me happy. And look at that throat. Looks like it goes on forever. So yeah, PNSO has done a really good job with the mouth details and the jaw articulations on their figures. And now for comparisons, here it is with Collectase 140 scale human. And next up, let's do Safari's limited take on Albertosaurus. Both are great figures. I really liked when this one came out last year from Safari. A lot of people did not like that really bright color scheme on it, but now we have PNSO's version, which is much more natural looking. So at least, hey, we have options now. We can pick which Albertosaurus fits best in our collection. And next up, here is PNSO's Gorgosaurus. Gorgosaurus and Albertosaurus are very closely related. At one point, they thought that they were the same species, or Albertosaurus was a subspecies of Gorgosaurus, and vice versa. But it is now confirmed that they are two separate species. So it's pretty neat that this is why I like when PNSO does the family trees like this, and there's also times I don't like it. I feel like it's very repetitive. But now we get these two species closely related. We get to display them on our shelves just to show the subtle differences between them. So this is when I like that they do this family style stuff. And next up, let's do some more of the Tyrannosaurus. Here is the Lithonax, and over here is Daspletosaurus, and let's bring back out Mr. Gorgo, because this is from this latest run of Tyrannosaurus. You can see, the color schemes are nice and natural looking, but they're not all the same. A lot of people are complaining when these figures are announced that they all look the same. There's a lot of differences between them. And out of this batch, yes, I don't have Cameron. I was very tempted to pick up Cameron after I went to the Field Museum in Chicago a few weeks ago and actually got to see Sue in person. I was very tempted to get that figure when I got back, but now that they announced the Tyrannosaurus with lips, I'm just sure it's a matter of time we're going to get a T-Rex figure with lips, so I'm going to hold off yet again. So yeah, PNSO pulling a beast of the Mesozoic here with all these Tyrannosaurs, but yeah, we're getting a lot of cool species. A new, 135 scale Lithonax was a much needed figure. Same thing with the Gorgosaurus and Albertosaurus. We got Holland Good doing their take on Daspletosaurus. Thank God for Holland Good. They're filling a very big niche right now. Releasing a variety of figures on like PNSO. We'll see what happens after the Yang Tyrannosaurus, what direction they go in from there. And like I said, I don't have Cameron, but I do have Wilson 2.0. And lastly, here's a group shot of the Horseshoe Canyon Formation. It's the formation where Albertosaurus is found. And surprise, surprise, it is in Alberta, Canada. We have Collectes Edmontosaurus regalis. We have Hologoods Pachyrhinosaurus and Edmontonia, and we have Collectes Struthiomimus. We really need a Pachyrhinosaurus canadensis. Everything's so Kustai. I really want a canadensis figure. Maybe eventually Hollogood will do a version of that species, but they all look really nice next to each other. I like doing these little formation shots. They're a lot of fun. So final thoughts on Wally. It's a great figure. It's definitely my favorite sculpt because it's so active looking compared to the rest of the Tyrannosaurs. The color scheme, it's kind of drab, but it is very natural looking, and it absolutely looks great posed in that resting position with the Collected Edmontosaurus. It sets up a really nice, dramatic diorama if you want to display these figures on your shelf. So yeah, it's definitely up there as my favorite of the PNSO Tyrannosaurus. The Lurthronax is still my favorite one. I really liked how that one turned out. So like I said at the beginning of the review, I ended up getting this figure from PNSO's AliExpress store, but I'm going to leave the link to there to Amazon because it's finally on Prime, so you can don't have to pay shipping. Retails for around $40. That link is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I did order PNSO's Yanchuanosaurus. That is on the way. Hollogood just came out with an Albertosaurus. That's also on the way. So I have a bunch of figures I still need to get to when those come in. And I have a couple other figures on hand that I also need to review. So stay on the lookout for that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.